Following the devastating parade shooting in Illinois, and joining us now is Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. She represents the state's 9th district. Congresswoman, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd love to just start by getting your reaction to the shooting and kind of telling us your involvement thus far. Has your office been in contact with any of the families of the victims?
Well, I've certainly been in touch with my dear friend, who is the mayor of Highland Park, Nancy Rotering. And today they just released the names of the victims. And it is the saddest thing. There is a couple, the McCarthys, both of whom were killed. And their 2-year-old baby was found in the crowd with blood on his legs, and all by himself, and finally has been reunited with his grandparents, who now will be raising this child. And a 78-year-old man from Mexico who came to visit his family was shot in his wheelchair. It was going to be a family reunion. So, you know, it was horrible the day that it happened. But now that the names of these victims have been released, the reality of what happens to real people is just so incredibly tragic. A woman, Jackie Sondheim, who has worked for years at a synagogue in the community. So everybody is just so devastated. But, you know, the mayor had managed to get a ban on assault weapons some years ago. She actually went to the Supreme Court and won. But of course, it's only for Highland Park, and that's not where the shooter bought that gun.
So I want to talk about the shooter being able to buy that gun. I mean, of course, at the federal level, there's this renewed push by Democrats for more gun safety measures after we did actually just see some movement made after what happened in Texas. But let's talk about your state, because, I mean, this individual did have this clearly disturbing public social media presence, even depicting shootings in some of his videos and things like that. We also know that police were aware of him, gone to his house, confiscated knives, a sword, dagger. What can be done in your state? I mean, it feels like when you hear those details, like dots were not connected, like details were missed, that then just 3 months, by the way, after those weapons were confiscated, his dad was able to sponsor him to go buy this weapon. Is there something that can be done within your state? Let's say federally things get gridlocked, as they often do, but what about in your state that would make it easier to connect those dots?
Yes, you know, look, and we now passed federally a red flag law that would also help that. But I want to tell you, the Illinois actually has very strong gun safety laws. The answer are the guns. Why would we, as the United States of America, we have 4.4% of the population and 46% of all the guns, more guns than all other countries combined by large. Why would we have these weapons of mass destruction, these assault weapons on the street at all? Why would we allow them? Yes, you know, there were all these signals, and if everything were perfect, we would have been able to stop this young man from getting a gun. He shouldn't have had the gun. That's true, and hopefully these red flag laws will help. But mainly, what we need is a ban on assault weapons, like we had during the Clinton administration, and then it expired. But while it was in place, it actually stopped these mass shootings. And so we have to take stronger steps. We made good first steps, but now we have to make stronger steps and stop these assault weapons.
So, Congresswoman, do you think that there should be a way to connect them? Because what happens often with red flag laws is it kind of has to do with guns specifically, whereas the confiscation of those knives sort of wasn't pulled into that same category. Do you think it should be? Do you think that should all be taken into account?
Yes, of course it should have been. You know, he also attempted suicide. There were all kinds of signals. There were things on his social media. We knew this young man was troubled for years and years. And he should not have been allowed to have a gun. But these, loopholes, these things that slip through, and ultimately, we just need to get these, he's shot 70 rounds, killing so many people. And there were a lot of things that maybe as we look back, should have been done. But I think the main thing is that why would the United States alone have all these mass shootings? It's in many ways because we allow these weapons, in the hands of civilians.
Congresswoman Schakowsky, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning, especially as your state is grieving. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.